What's up? What's up? It's your girl, Lori J, and we're back for an all-new episode of 38 and Dating. Thank you guys for listening, subscribing, sharing it with your friends. Please keep sharing it. I keep getting these amazing comments and testimonials from people and their friends saying how much this podcast has helped them. And that makes my heart so warm, y'all. So if you feel that way, please drop a note in the review section or text me or DM me. I would love to hear your feedback. That's Lori J. That's LORIJAY on Twitter and Instagram. Or if you want to email me, it's LoriJayh@gmail.com. All right, let's get into it, guys. This episode is called How to Stop Attracting Broken People and Fix Yourself Too. This topic really came from some conversations that I've been having with both men and women lately. And it's really interesting because there's this confidence that people have now in being self-aware about the fact that they attract broken people. And I think that's huge. I think it's great that people know when they attract broken people. But I also think it's some kind of way of people saying, but it's okay because I know that's what I do, right? But it's not okay if that's not what you want. Everybody that's mentioned it to me said it in a way of, oh God, I just keep attracting these broken people and I can't find the right one, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll tell you about my one girlfriend. I will call her Tiff. Tiff was texting me the other day, and Tiff's been in a long-term relationship, a very long-term relationship, over 8 years probably. And Tiff is also torn with what to do about her boyfriend. And this is someone who I know is a phenomenal woman. And she's a go-getter. She's amazing, bright light, everything. But she struggles. She also has been with some people on the side. And I know, everybody wants to act like they don't cheat. But sometimes people do so out of desperation because they are missing something in their relationship. I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm saying I've listened enough and heard enough to understand the motivations behind it or how people get into that situation. And as you know, I'm not judgmental, so that will never be the day. So anyway, with Tiff, she did mention to me that, she's not sure what to do in her love life. And I just said, well, what do you want to do? Now, I know about Tiffany and her relationship and her extracurriculars, if you want to call it that. And I just think that Tiff can do so much better for herself. And she said to me, well, I attract broken people. I know I attract broken guys. And I was like, but why? Right? And it's not to say that I haven't. I've attracted broken people too. Something that Jan Levinson said in her Karuchi Tran interview for Fix My Life. She said, like attracts like, right? So whatever you have inside of you is attracting something similar in someone else. So if you attract broken people, it might be because you're broken too at that time. How do you know if you're attracting broken people? Well, because you see that there are so many challenges, but you stick with the relationship, even though you might not feel that those challenges are worth working on or getting to a better place with, right? So some people can be so geared toward being a taskmaster in their relationship. They can do all the right things, live the lifestyle, be the epitome of a girlfriend/boyfriend in terms of actions, but they're going through the motions, right? Have you ever thought that you were going through the motions in your relationship? I know I have. When you're going through the motions, something is not right. That is your first signal, okay? Notice when you're going through the motions. That's number one. So if you like projects like my friend Tiff, you know that that person has some obstacles. The question is, do you want to help them improve them? And so what I find is, both in men and women, is that you like projects because it helps you feel more secure. Because obviously, if you're the better person, quote unquote, in the relationship, the other person should feel very lucky to be with you. They should know what side their bread is buttered on. They should feel like, oh my God, I can't let that person go. And so that feeds your ego and makes you feel secure because you know that they couldn't do better than you. It's twisted, or so it sounds, but that's really what it is. It really is, y'all. I've done that. And it's not with people you would think are broken, right? So let me get on to my funny story for this episode. It's hilarious. I almost forgot about this story. So I was dating a diplomat from another country, right? I don't even want to say the country because that'll probably give it away. I was dating a diplomat from another country, a general consul of the country. And I was in Atlanta at the time. And what's funny is this guy just hit on me really, really hard. He was tall, he was okay looking, had a nice personality, very nice personality. And I gave him my work number, and he proceeds to send me flowers at work. He knew where I worked. We met at a work event. He proceeded to send me flowers, right? Let's just call him the diplomat. The diplomat sent me flowers, some red roses. And he had this very sweet message in the roses saying something like, his country could not imagine anything more beautiful than me, or something like that. I can't remember the card. God, it's been a second ago. But anyway, sweet card, red roses, a dozen at work. I was like, oh, okay. So of course the girl's feeling good. And we start to date. Now, mind you, I knew that he wasn't necessarily the person that I would be most attracted to, but I gave him a shot because he seemed very sweet and nice and all that. So when we would go out in Atlanta, he would have his driver pick us up. So the way it works with diplomats, some of them, is that they get this McMansion to live in the city that they're in. They get a hired driver to drive them wherever they're going. And they get all kinds of benefits like that, right? So they don't pay for any of this. This is part of their package in terms of you're the diplomat for the country. So he would take me out and he'd say, well, my driver will come pick you up. And so I was like, okay. Of course, a girl felt like she was in Princess Diaries, right? Like, oh, the driver is coming to pick me up. Okay, all right, awesome. So he came with his driver to pick me up, and we would go to these events. And it was funny because I'm very cognizant of not putting things on display sometimes when you're out in your professional life. So he walks the red carpet at this event, and I purposely hang back. Like, I was like, oh, okay, go ahead. We're not officially boyfriend and girlfriend. We are just dating. And so I didn't want him to feel like he had to be on display, with me. And we hadn't talked about it. So he walks the red carpet, and I see him looking so lost. Like, where is she? Like, where did she go? And so I'm standing over where they're doing the video interviews, and he motions for me to come over to him. So he is on camera with me. And so I'm fine with it, but I just wanted to make sure he was comfortable. And so anyway, I answered some questions. He answered some questions. And that's the end of the day. And the girl, the interviewer, after she cut tape, she said, that means that you stop recording. After she stopped recording, she said, yeah, he was looking for you. He was all lost without you. He couldn't form a sentence. And I was like, what? I just met this guy. And so it was hilarious to me. Anyway, and I told him, I said, hey, I was just doing that out of respect for your position. And we hadn't talked about that. And he's like, no, I absolutely want you to, be step in step with me. In my head, I was like, I don't know if I want to be step in step with you. I don't know you like that. You might be putting me on display and, I'm still a free agent. Anyway, so in the course of us dating, I would invite him over to my house. I would cook for him. And that's something that I never did for guys. I would never cook for them because I was stuck in my head in my younger days in terms of, oh, I don't want to cook for him. And then he takes me for granted and comes to expect it. And then, he just, feels like I should do it all the time and not be thankful or sweet about it. So I would never cook for a guy for that reason. But for him, I did it. Why? Because I felt like he was an experiment. I knew I wasn't going to be with him. He was an experiment because he was kind of distant when he was at my house. He would try to be charming over the phone or at events. But then, when we were at my house or I was cooking for him, he'd be kind of distant. So I was just like, oh, let me just test this out. So one day I made like some spaghetti or something easy. And I didn't cook a lot for him. It was like maybe twice. And he was on his phone, y'all. And I swear he was on the phone with a woman. So I was just like, let me not blow up the spot right now. Like, what you're not going to do is be on the phone with some chick while you're at my house. I don't care if we are exclusive or not. This is my domain. When we're together, we're together. When we're not, we're not. So act right. Because that's just rude and disrespectful. And so anyway, I kind of said, well, who are you on the phone with? And I don't even know what he said or who he said. So I ended up sitting next to him. I saw it was a woman. And I was just like, you know what? It's time for you to go. Like, it's past time for you to go. So he was all upset. And y'all, this is where the story gets hilarious. So he's upset. And we have this little fake argument. And I let it happen because I was like, oh, I never really argue. So this is a good experiment too. This is a good test. Let me see about my argumentative skills. So we're arguing lightly. It's not like raised voices, but it's definitely firm discussion. And he opens up his wallet. Why does a wedding ring fall out of his wallet, y'all? It wasn't funny at the time, but it's funny now. What kind of ain't shit person has their wedding ring in their wallet? I'm sorry. Oh, sorry for the explicit language, but it ain't shit, dude. I'm going to let a wedding ring, clearly a wedding ring because it looks like a band and it's like silver and it has like a little black band in the middle of it. Let it fall out of his wallet. So I'm like, is that a wedding ring? Knowing the damn answer. And he's like, no. That's the fashion ring. No. That is not a wedding ring. That is a fashion ring. Doing his accent. And I'm doing horrible at it on purpose. So I was like, dude, this is a wedding ring. Nobody wears a fashion ring for that purpose. And here again is where people lie. You got to watch out for the lies, y'all. Watch out for the lies. You know when somebody's lying. You know. So anyway, so he's like, no, I wear this ring on my right hand. It's for pictures and purposes like that. So people assume that I'm married because I'm so young in my position. I'm like, word. Okay. Not. It's time for you to go. So he leaves. And what do I do, y'all? What is the first thing you would do after that? Child, I went to Google. I went to the Googles. I Googled the hell out of this man and I looked at all the pictures and then I saw this wedding ring. I was like, I don't care if it is a mirrored effect, right hand, left hand, you have a wedding ring on, sir. I'm going to need you to get yourself together and stop with the games. So he was broken and I should have known that's what it was when he was all distant, but I didn't really pick up on it. And I think I was just more so geared toward dating quality guys. And, he had a great job and he seemed very professional and nice enough guy. We went on nice dates, but whatever. Like, dude, you are broken. You is broken, okay? Beyond repair. Like, you are married and you out here in these streets wilding while your wife is probably back home. Anyway, I had to ask my homegirl who knew him, who introduced us. I was like, yo, I think he's married. And she was like, girl, I told you when you met him, I can't vouch for this person. I can't vouch for dude. Like, I don't want to get in it. I was like, fair enough. You did say that. So anyway, all that to say, when somebody's broken, when they're lying, when they're struggling, and when you don't want to deal with it. I think there's some degree that we all feel to some degree, let me say it that way, that obstacles are supposed to come with relationships and you're going to have to deal with them in any relationship. And that is true, right? But I think sometimes we use it as a reason to stay with a person that we know we don't want to be with. Like, oh, well, he doesn't really take care of his kids that well, but, there's always going to be something with somebody. Or, oh, he really doesn't have his shit together with his job, but that's okay. He's going to get it together because there's always going to be some mess with somebody, right? It's one thing if you love them and you want to love them through that phase. It's another thing if you're unsure. If you're unsure and they got a lot of stuff, it's probably a sign that they're too broken and that's not the person for you. If you close your eyes right now and envision the person that you're dating or that you want to date, ask yourself this question. Do I see myself with this person forever and ever? The first thought that popped into your head is your answer. And if it's not a yes, it's a no. If it's a that's a no. The reason is because you know deep down in your gut how you feel about somebody. You really do. You really do. And I think that as women, and especially women, over the age of 35, we get a lot of signals that you're running out of time. You're running out of time to find the person that you're going to marry. Hell, my mama said it last night. She said it in a positive way, though. But she was just saying, yeah, girl, we're just trying to get to this, this wedding, this marriage. And I'm like, whoa. One day at a time, Mom. I'm in a wonderful place right now dating. I'm in a wonderful place dating. I'm self-aware. I'm self-assured. I know who I am. I know what I need. I know what I don't need. And I'm having an amazing time, right? Being in that place. And I was like, it's one day at a time for me. One day at a time. And that's really how you have to look at it, right? Anything can happen. People always say, oh, I just want to be married and I want to have somebody that I'll be with forever and ever. You came into this world by yourself. You will leave this world by yourself. What you want is somebody to be a great mate and a partner and a champion for you. But don't ever think that they're going to be your everything. They won't. You and your God or your beliefs, that is your everything, right? The person you're with should be an amazing enhancement, a compliment, a plus, not a detractor. Okay? So back to the projects, the projects that we all do. So for my fellas, I talked to two guys recently, two of my guy friends who have a lot going on the ball, super successful guys, really good looking guys, amazing personality guys. Two of them. I know two of those brothers. Do I want to date them? No, because they're my friends. And we've never dated, just to be clear. But these are two of my good guy friends. And one of them recently, guys, tall, dark, attractive, great job, entrepreneur, just an amazing person. He told me that he is still single. And the last girl that he introduced me to at an event, they were no longer together. And he told me what was wrong with the relationship, lightly. And I said, dude, you're too great to be single. Like, you need to be out here. Like, somebody needs to husband you up. Instead of wife you up, somebody needs to husband you up real quick because you're dope. And he's like, yeah. He's like, well, I'm trying, but, it's just not happening for me. He's like, and I think that I like projects. And I was like, oh, well, that's your problem. You need to stop liking projects because that means something is broken in you and you're attracting that broken person. Like, you got to fix yourself, bro. Like, you have to. He's like, no. I know what I want. I want somebody who's busy like me, who's not going to be needy, who's this, who's that. Okay. I hear you. As your friend, I want the best for you. And that means that you are going to have to do some self-reflection and figure out what you need to fix yourself. So when you're assured that you like broken people, and I know it sounds funny, but some of us, we know, start to think about what's broken in you and why is that? I honestly think it's a self-esteem issue. And take it from me because I have had not so great self-esteem in relationships before. Like, I was always confident with guys that I knew were, not potential guys for me because I was like, oh, they should be happy that we together. It's cool. But for guys who were great, and I dated some great guys, I would become insecure. I would become worried that they would leave the relationship or, not want to be with me. And I don't know why that is. It's like I forgot about my own greatness. I forgot about my own amazingness. I forgot about the fact that I'm a prize. I'm something and someone who is great. And so my sister would always tell me, like, Lori, you put the guys on a pedestal when you think they're better than you. And then you get all, intrepid about anything. I walk on eggshells. I am worried that, what I said is going to make them want to go away. And that becomes a learned behavior. And if you've done it once, you've probably done it several times. And if you've done it several times, it's probably a hard thing to shake, even when you know you're intelligent enough to shake it. So I had to learn to put myself on that pedestal and not jump off. Like, I'm great. I am a wonderful person to be with. I know that. People tell me that, but it never sinks in until you truly believe it. And so if you know that you like projects, start to think about why you have that self-esteem issue or why you feel insecure about it. Think back to your past. For me, it was seeing my parents divorce and the build up to that. I think seeing, them leave the relationship made me nervous about a great person leaving my relationship. But I had to get over that, and I did. With time, self-reflection, reading a lot of articles, reading books, I have. It doesn't mean that it won't creep up once in a while, but I have learned to bat it away. Because guess what? If somebody leaves a relationship, so be it. You're not going to die. You'll be okay. You will move on to live another day. And your greatness doesn't change from that. You only get enhanced by learning lessons from each relationship you have. Every single thing that you encounter, every single person that you encounter helps you to become a better version of yourself. Period, point blank. When you know better, you do better, right? So just think about that, guys, in terms of when you're dating projects, when you know you like projects, think about how to figure out what is it in yourself that attracts those people to you. So here are my 5 tips on how to stop wanting and attracting projects and how to fix yourself too. Number 1, and I know I said number 1 before, but that was really about a point. These are my tips though. Number 1, pray and or meditate every day. I heard somewhere that prayer is talking to God and meditating is listening to God. So whether you believe in God or higher power or the universe, pray and or meditate every day, even if it's for 10 minutes. I try to get to 30 minutes. And once I started doing 30 minutes, it became not enough time. And I don't do it every day. I'm striving to do it every day, but pray and or meditate every day that you can. And be still. When you're meditating, all you have to do is just close your eyes, focus on your breath, and just let things come. If thoughts come, so be it. If you want to bat away the thoughts, so be it. But just be still. How many times in life do we get to be still and just listen to what our heart is saying? Not many unless you make time for it. So do that. Number 2, say no and mean it. My auntie, she says that her father would say, when you say no, mean it. And that's when it comes to people that you know are either too broken to be with or not what you want to be with, or they're not for you. And that's not a judgment on them. It's just about knowing yourself. So when you know there's a challenge and you don't want to deal with that challenge, just say no and mean it. You know in your heart. You know in your heart. I recently met a new girlfriend, and she told me that she met a guy. She's dating him. He's an entertainer and he's a singer. And she knows in her heart that he's not the one. She loves hanging with him. She loves what they do, but he has some hard lines and hard rules in terms of, he doesn't want this, he doesn't want that, he won't do this, he won't do that. And he's not trying to be in a permanent relationship, and she definitely wants to get married. So I'm like, girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? Say no. I know you're having fun, so I tend to say, well, have your fun. But it can be a risk because my plane analogy, which I've said in a couple of episodes before, when you have a plane on your runway, it's hard for another plane to land. If you have a person that's taking up emotional availability in your life, someone that you enjoy, someone that you're spending time with, somebody that your emotions are tied to, If you know that's not your person, or he or she doesn't have the potential to be your person, that plane is just blocking your runway. And it's preventing the right plane from landing. Clear your runway, y'all. Clear it up. Figure out a time, clear it up. I share with my girlfriend Tiff how I cleared up my runway, and I'll do that for the next episode. But clear out your runway. You need the right plane to land. You need plenty of space and room and emotional availability for that right plane to land. So say no and mean it. Okay, don't say no and then be like, oh, but we're going to go out and we're going to hang out and go on some dates. But I know it's not real. All that stuff takes up your emotional availability. So don't play yourself. And don't waste their time either. Number 3, say yes when they are potential. Say yes. Don't get so bogged down in the habit of saying no that you think that everybody is shitty. Everybody's not shitty. Okay, I hear that a lot. There's a whole bunch of ain't shit people out here. Yeah, you're right. But there are also some who are great. Okay, and just because you haven't met that person yet doesn't mean that they're not out there. Say yes when somebody does feel like they have the potential to be somebody important in your life, right? And I'm not talking about they meet all of your statistics and your criteria on a list. As y'all know, I threw out the list. I started focusing on how I felt with the person and how they made me feel. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what list somebody meets, they still might not make you feel blessed and cherished and all the things you want to feel in a relationship. But you might be holding on to it because they meet the criteria. Screw the criteria. Screw it. You know it already. Y'all have already written your list out. You already know. You know. So why write it out? Why even have that as a thing now? You know. And you're not going to let somebody in your life who doesn't meet at least the basic quote unquote requirements. So just go with how you feel when you're with them, when you're not with them. How do they make you feel? Do you feel secure? Do you feel cherished? Do you feel loved? Do you feel protected? Do you feel amazing? Do you feel like trash? Do you feel nervous? Do you feel unsure? Pay attention to that. Your gut will never lead you wrong. I promise you. I promise you. And be okay to let go when you know it's not right. My girlfriends have said, oh, but I don't feel like starting over with a new man. I get it. But you can either start over today or you can start over in 20 years, honey. Either way, you're going to be starting over at some point because that relationship is not it. And she knows it. And those aren't my words. She knows this. So don't hang on to something past its expiration day. Free them and free yourself. Say no when it's no. Say yes when it's yes. Number 4, be uninhibited and authentically yourself. I cannot stress this enough. All the times that I just let go and I'm just Lori and I'm just living my best life, those are the times when I attract the best people in my life. When I'm just doing me and I honestly am not worried about who I'm meeting, who I'm dating, anything. I'm just being me. I honestly feel like I have an energy that pulls people in sometimes for friendships, for dating situations, whatever. But it happens when I am absolutely not focused on it and I'm just being myself and I'm letting myself be myself. So be uninhibited and authentically yourself. It will do wonders for you, especially if you are in a loving space with yourself. If you love yourself and you cherish yourself and you have worked on your self-esteem and you're feeling great about yourself, that energy is going to attract like energy. You're going to attract somebody else who feels great about themselves, somebody else who has high self-esteem, someone else who's authentically themselves. If you're happy, you're going to attract somebody else who's happy. Believe me, it has happened for me. Do that. Be uninhibited and authentically yourself. And then number 5, this is the most important one. And I think I'm going to dedicate the next podcast to this. Let go of the destination. Instead, focus on the journey. Let go of the destination and instead focus on the journey. I feel like for my 30s, people in my life would always say, oh, when are you going to meet a man that you're going to marry? This is after I broke it off with my ex. Oh, when are you going to meet the one? Is this the one? Every time I would date a guy, they would wonder if he was the future husband. And although I would kind of brush it aside, I'd be like, I don't know, we'll see. It creates a dynamic, or it created a dynamic in me where it felt like, oh, you can't date anybody unless you think they're about to be your husband. Like, and everybody you date, everybody's looking at them as your potential husband or mate. And then when the relationship didn't work out, it felt like I'd already been married to the person and it didn't work out. And the next person was up, and people in my life would say, oh, well, is this the one? I mean, you thought the last one was the one. So then it made me feel like I was not making great decisions in relationships. But that's not it. Dating is for data, as my good girlfriend says. Dating is for data. My friend who's a psychologist, she says that to me. And she told me and a girlfriend that. And I believe that. People need to stop thinking that everybody you date is your husband. No. Or your wife, for the fellas, or whoever. Everybody you date is not your mate. Dang, that's a great phrase. Everybody you date is not your mate. Sometimes you're just learning about them or learning about you. And so I had to learn that everybody else focusing on the destination made me focus on the destination of marriage, right? And, who I wanted to be with, for the long haul. And it took away the focus from the journey, the now, the present. And my auntie always stresses to me, just live in this sweet moment, live in the moment and be present. And I'm so thankful for her for that. And that's so true, y'all. Let go of the destination. Yeah, you want to be married, you want a partner. It doesn't mean that your intent isn't that. And that's what the book 7 Spiritual Laws of Success talks about. Just because you let go of the outcome doesn't mean that you let go of the intent and the desire. Keep your intent and desire. Just don't stress the outcome. Enjoy the journey as you go. You don't have to obsess about, I want to be married. You know it. So now just focus on meeting great people and figuring out what you like and what you need. And enjoy each and every moment in the moment instead of the destination. You worry about the destination, it's going to freak you out, freak the person out. And it'll put undue pressure on the relationship. Worry about the journey. If you feel like the journey's too long or you're not getting to where you want to get to in whatever time you have set for yourself, then you'll deal with it then. But until then, enjoy the moment. Enjoy the present. Enjoy the day-to-day. All right? It takes two to tango. So you don't have to control everything, nor can you. Let go of the destination and focus on the journey. Be in the journey, y'all. And I wish all of you the best in your journey. I am certainly living and loving mine. And I hope that you will do the same. All right, that's it for this 38 in Dating. I will talk to you guys next time. Again, please rate and review me on Apple iTunes podcasts. I would love written messages. It just helps me see if you guys are liking it, if there are any things that you'd like me to talk about, etc. Or drop me a note on Instagram, DM, Twitter, whatever. But let me know how you're liking this, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks again for listening. All right.